Alright, so in this video we're going to go over some strategies to improve mobility and strength through the thoracic spine and shoulders. To get started, we're going to go over some breathing techniques. We really want to set the breath into a diaphragmatic pattern so that we're taking the tension out of the shoulders before we start working into the mobility and strengthening pattern. So the belly breathing technique that we're going to use is in a prone position. I really like this position because you're able to feel your stomach expand against the ground. And what we're really looking for is 360 degrees of expansion. So as you breathe in, you should not only feel your belly push against the ground, but you should feel your obliques or your sides expand, and you should also feel the lower part of your back expand. So 360 degrees of expansion with that diaphragmatic breath, and we want to avoid breathing up high. So what I mean by that is when you breathe in, it's very common for people to do this when you're trying to take a big breath. So you want to take deep breaths, but you want to keep that air coming down into your diaphragm and stomach rather than up high into the shoulders and upper back. So this is what the position looks like. I'll go through a couple cycles myself. So you're going to repeat that breathing pattern for anywhere between 3 to 5 minutes, which is going to seem like a really long time, but it's going to take a bit of time to try to relax the sympathetic nervous system, get that breath coming in low, and then throughout the rest of these exercises, you want to try to maintain that nice low breathing pattern so we're able to really focus on mobilizing the thoracic spine and shoulder area. So 3 to 5 minutes of belly breathing in the prone position. After you're done that, then you're going to come right up into a quadruped position. So hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and we're going to go through some cat-cow positions. So again, a couple really key points here is that we want to be active through this. So we're not just moving the spine, but we are actually connecting ourselves with the floor through the hands. We're pressing the hands through the floor, and through that press into the floor, we're able to separate the shoulder blades on the upper back. You're going to hold for 2 breaths and then slowly come down into an extension pattern. When you're coming into that extension pattern, I want you to focus on initiating the extension from up high first, so from the cervical into the thoracic and then the lumbar spine, rather than the opposite, and it causing a bunch of overextension in the lower back. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll go into the flexion position. You really want to exaggerate that flexion position, pushing the shoulder blades across the rib cage. This is going to, 1, help to mobilize the tissues in the upper back, and 2, help to activate the serratus muscles. Then from here, we're going to engage the movement from high to low. So you should feel the erector muscles that run down the sides of the spine, fully connected from low all the way to high. A lot of times when people just do the lower back, you can feel the muscles burning or retention just in the low segments of the spine, the lumbar spine. If you're feeling that, then you want to try to again reset and initiate some extension from high first. When I say high, I mean the cervical and thoracic area. And what we're really looking for is just feeling a full connection from the upper segments all the way down through the lower. So you should feel those muscles from high, running all the way down. One nice smooth contraction. We're not feeling one segment or one area more than another. So this would be an example of that. Right now, if I'm just tilting my pelvis and arching my lower back, I feel primarily the lower spinal erectors rather than the full length. So take your time through flexion and extension. You're going to do anywhere from 5 to 10 repeats back and forth. The wide range in reps is because what's most important is not the number of reps that you're doing, but the sensation that you're getting. So I can't stress enough that when you're in that flex position, you're feeling your shoulder blades coming back, you're coming forward, you're feeling some separation of the blade and some opening through the upper back. And then when you come into the extension position, you're feeling the muscles that run down the sides of your spine fully connected from high to low. So the reps are not what's important. What's important is that you're connecting with the movement and that you're moving with some efficiency through those positions. So after you've gone through that, we've worked in a linear plane, so spine going forward and back, fantastic. Now you're going to sit back to your heels, draw your belly button in, nice neutral spine, so we want to keep the hips square to the ground, lots of length. Chin's neutral, we're not tucked down. And then from here, we're going to reach under. And open up. So by sitting right back on the heels, it keeps the pelvis and the hips facing square. A lot of times if you're up here, then everything opens up. We want to try to focus on movement from the rib cage up, so through the thoracic spine and shoulders. So we're down. Key point in this position is that this hand is actually still pressing through the floor and that we're not collapsing down into this position. So this hand is pushing. Okay, so the shoulder's protracted while this hand reaches under. And then from there, we come up and we're trying to create length from the bottom hand all the way through to the top hand. So we're not just trying to spin as far as we can. We're trying to get in a lengthened and rotated position. So if this hand is over the bottom hand, top hand over the bottom hand, we're in a good spot. We're not trying to go into any extreme rotary positions. So after doing 3 to 5 reps on that side, then reset, and we can go through the other side. So reach under and up. So we're looking for these positions to be active. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, so after you've completed the reps on both sides, you feel like things are rotating pretty even. That's another point. If you feel like one side's a little bit tighter than the other, or lacks a little bit more rotation, spend a couple extra reps there. Take a couple extra breaths in each position, down here and up here, while again maintaining that length in your spine until you feel like you've brought things to fairly close to a symmetrical position. From there, we're going to go into a half-minute windmill. So we've worked on flexion extension, we've worked on rotation. Now we're going to work a little bit more on integrating some rotation at the shoulder, or the ball and socket joint, into rotation of the thoracic spine. So we're here, 90 degrees to the front knee, 90 degrees to the back. Tilt the pelvis into a nice neutral position. So you're getting the hip flexors, palms forward. You're going to reach up, create some length. You'll feel like you hit an end range where you can't go any further with your palm facing that direction. At that point, you're going to rotate, follow your hand around with your head and your eyes. So it's up. Look up at your hand and follow it around. So again, we're integrating that ball and socket joint and the rotation there into our thoracic spine. So palm forward, lots of length. And breathe in. Okay, so we're going to go both sides. Again, it's a wide range, anywhere from 5 to 10 reps on each side, and it is largely dependent on how you are feeling. The most important thing with these movements is 1, understanding the details, 2, focusing on those details, and then connecting with the movement and feeling like you're hitting the positions that you are intending to hit. Okay, so breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, so again, 5 to 10 reps. So that goes through our mobility piece. So we've done our breathing to try to relax all the muscles through the thoracic spine, the shoulders, the neck, by breathing through the diaphragm and the stomach. Then we've gone into some mobility exercises, flexion extension patterns, rotation patterns, and then integrating the shoulder into that. Now we're going to go into some strengthening patterns, all bodyweight strengthening patterns. These movements are built to strengthen the stabilizers around the scapula and the shoulder. So we're going to start in a protracted plank. So you're going to go in a high plank position. Hands are in front, slightly rotated outwards. Elbows are straight. We're going to get up onto the toes. Belly button draws in towards the spine. And then push through the floor. So we really want to press the floor away while keeping that pelvis in a neutral position, so we don't want to be extended. Pelvis is neutral. Belly button is pulling in. You may get a little bit of a shake here, which is normal if you're pressing through the floor as hard as you can. So we're going to go 3 breaths in a protracted position, and then we're going to go straight from this protracted position into a downward dog, which is going to take us into an upward rotation position on the shoulders. All you need to focus on is getting your head between your arms. So ideally biceps are to ears. In this position, we're still pressing through the floor. So you're pressing into the floor and forward, pushing the hips towards the ceiling. Belly button is still drawn in towards the spine. So push-up position. Elbows are straight, we're in protraction, belly button's in. And then into a downward dog. Press the floor away. Hips to the ceiling. For the purposes of this exercise, stay up on the balls of your feet, heels are high. Pressing through the floor. Head's not up, down between your arms. And then back down low. So we do 3 breaths low, 3 breaths high, 3 to 5 reps. Okay? So we're working protraction, we're working upward rotation. From there, we're going to go into more retraction-based positions. So down on the ground, face down. We're going to go thumbs to the ceiling on about a 45-degree angle, head on the floor. We're going to lift off the ground. And we're going to go 8 reps in that Y position. So that's our starting position. A couple key points before we move on to the other positions is that when you lift, you want the movement to come from the shoulder joint, and you should feel the muscles in your upper back working to lift that hand up. What you don't want to do is feel the lower back, so like this, extending up. Even if your head comes down, you may still extend the back. You want to minimize any movement down low, so the belly button's tucked in, the pelvis is sitting neutral, and you're going to move from that shoulder joint, feeling the mid upper back, lower traps, drive that movement. So after you've done your reps there, so we're here, we're all done. We're coming to the sides, palms to the floor, and we're going to go retractions. Same thing, belly button's in, pelvis is sitting neutral, and we're squeezing those shoulder blades back. Really important in that position, when you lift up, make sure you're not jamming the front of the humerus, your upper arm bone, into the front of the shoulder socket. So as you lift up, you should be opening through the chest and squeezing the blades back. It's going to strengthen all those muscles between the shoulder blades and the spine. Really important for stabilizing that entire area, those segments of your T-spine. Okay, so we've got overhead Ys, we've got T's, then we're going to come down low. So we're here, at this point the palms are up, and you're going to wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage. In this position, you should be getting mid-upper back as well as lats. So the palms are up, we're opening the chest, pulling the blades together, and pushing the palms towards the ceiling, finding some activation through the lats and mid-upper back. Last one, we're going to go from there, and we're going to come on the back, hands are on the lower back, elbows down, and up. It's a nice short range of motion. And after working through all 4 of those positions, you should be getting a nice burn through that shoulder girdle. All the muscles in your upper back are being activated, working to stabilize the scapula and the T-spine area. So once you're done the protraction upward rotation, prone swimmer, we're going to go into a bear cross. So this exercise is designed to activate those oblique muscle slings. So each one of these different areas has a purpose on connecting your upper body with your lower body, mobilizing the T-spine and the upper back, which are all very key aspects of having a fully integrated and efficient working system. So we're going into this bird dog type position. Hands are below the shoulders, knees are below the hips. Hands are pressing through the floor. So again, we're not in a lazy position here. We're actively pressing the ground away, which is going to activate all the muscles through that shoulder girdle, where otherwise, if we're just slumped forward, those muscles are not going to be active, which is largely the purpose of this exercise. So we're here. We're going to press through the floor. Knees are off the ground. You're going to touch your hand on your opposite knee and then extend out. Very important here that as you work through this movement, you're not letting off on that press through the floor, because that's actually what's going to, one, engage the muscles through the shoulder girdle, but also create a connection through that oblique line that runs from that planted side across the body to that other planted leg. Okay, so opposite arm, opposite leg, pressing through the floor. We're touching opposite arm, opposite knee, knees hovering off the floor. And those positions have to stay active to really get the benefits of the exercise. The last exercise is going to be side plank rotations. So we're going to do them on our forearm. So just to, real quick, so protraction, we're pressing in front. The upward rotation, we're pressing overhead. The prone swimmer, we're working on retraction in a variety of different positions to strengthen the upper back. The bear cross, we are connecting the shoulder girdle through the oblique sling. And then the side plank rotation, we are pushing the shoulder, this is a key point, out laterally. So a lot of times when people do side planks, they get themselves into this jammed up position here like this. Okay, this is a common looking position. It doesn't even look comfortable. Okay, so when you're in the side plank, you want to be pressing that forearm through the floor. It's very active. And once again, that connects the shoulder girdle into the obliques, okay? If you're slumped over, it's a disconnected position and is not fulfilling the purpose of the exercise. So we're down on the forearm, we're pressing the forearm through the floor, we're pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. So by pressing down through the forearm, we're creating space in the shoulder joint, we're activating the muscles that stabilize the shoulder, the scapula, we're tying that in to the obliques, okay? And then from here, we're going to go hand up. We're going to keep pressing. We're going to come down. And then we're going to come up. So as you come down, most of the rotation will come from the shoulder girdle. There will be some rotation from the hips, very little, and up. The entire time, you need to be pressing through the floor of your forearm. You need to be pressing your hips to the ceiling, and to know that you're doing that, you should feel the muscles activate throughout. So the obliques should be firing hard throughout that entire movement. If they're not, you're probably missing one of two things, and that is pressing through the floor of the forearm or pressing the hips to the ceiling. If one of those things are missing, then there are some other ones, but those are the top two that we'll see in the training center, where people lose the activation through their obliques is when they lose one of those things. So, go on through this routine. It can take as little as 10-15 minutes and as much as 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how much time you spend on each exercise. And I can't stress enough, this video is more about the details of each exercise than a follow along. So you can go through it, pause as you go, do the exercises, play it again, watch the next exercise, go through the routine, and then make this a little bit part of your routine if you feel like the shoulder girdle is a bit of a priority in your training. All right, enjoy.